Well, hello, Cancer, Leo, Moon people. Welcome to your Aries, Taurus new moon reading. This is a new moon reading that is quite powerful because after a 7-year stint in Aries, Taurus is the home of not only this new moon, but of Uranus. Uranus is sudden changes, sudden awarenesses, eureka moments when we're talking about lunar energy. It is knowing what you know 1 minute, and the next minute what you know is completely in a different direction. So over the next 7 years with Uranus in Taurus, we will find that there will be changes as it relates to your principles, your values, what you possess, maybe your money, how you are valuing things and people in your life will undergo a tremendous amount of change for you on a emotional and on an intuitive basis as it relates to your Cancer sidereal sign and your Leo Western emotional sign. Now that has to do with how you feel, how you react to your sidereal soul astrology downloads from the Cancer. You are at a very interesting juxtaposition right now, because in the Western astrology where your Leo is, this emotional surface astrology with regard to your identity this lifetime, it's limited to that. The North Node is in your moon sign, and so there has been a great deal of collective energy toward the aspects of your sign. Childlike energy, attention-seeking energy. We've had that on the lower vibrations, as well as great paternal energy rather. We're going into the maternal energy when these nodes shift in November to the Cancer in the North Node in the Western. Now, of course, Cancer is your moon sign in the sidereal, which is where the North Node is now. That's why I'm bringing it up. It's a very interesting 12 months for you, because on a soul level, the collective unconsciousness is in your lunar sign, that intuitive soul sign, sidereal and Cancer, and the Western, the tropical, is in Leo. So you've again had this amplified, shall we say, emotional and intuitive support to buoy you along the emotional stream of your life. Now that has advantages and disadvantages, because as you have experienced during the eclipse seasons, and as I have observed in my readings with Cancer, Leo, moon sign people, that as these eclipses occur, you are also jolted into new areas of awareness. As we had the total solar eclipse back in August of 2017, that was a period that brought up great shadows for you. And January 31st, the total lunar eclipse, you were able to purge a lot of emotional issues in your life at that time that you're still working through. So, having said that, this new moon in Taurus Aries is in your 10th house, as well as Mercury, Uranus, and Mars is in your 7th house. So a lot of power going toward personal and professional relationships. A lot of power going toward, therefore, your internal space of balancing where you are and what you are about in your life at this time. These readings are from the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck, designed on the 49 scenes of the Wizard of Oz. Dorothy is the poster child for Mama Drama Trauma. These readings are designed for people who are healing, stopping the cycle of mama drama trauma in their lives, a condition in which the mother projects unhealed aspects of herself onto the child, causing emotional and or physical trauma. In cases where the mother is unwilling, unable, unavailable to heal, loving detachment is required. It is the time and the space that is needed to diffuse the triggers of being in her presence in order to cultivate a sense of unconditional love as opposed to unconditional need. Great Mother's coming through for you with Durga. You are approaching this new moon in Aries, Taurus, Leo, Cancer moon people with a sense of boundaries. You have already established and defined boundaries that are needed in your emotional and physical life, or you sense that there is a need to do so. This is a new moon card in the gut chakra. So there are visceral responses that you have with regard to a person or a situation at this particular time that Mars is really giving emphasis to, for you to acknowledge. There is a person, there is a situation that you need to define boundaries with. If you've defined those boundaries and they haven't honored them, you need to establish and maintain those boundaries at this time. Your transformative opportunity is the law of ego form and manifestation, Cancer, Leo, moon people, the Ankh. And of course, the Ankh in the Great Mother Speaks Oracle deck is the symbol for the second chakra. And so we have here in the law card of ego form and manifestation the double yin, single yang symbol in the third quarter moon. This is deep intuitive knowledge that is being acted upon. This is knowing what your life purpose is, that 10th house energy, wish fulfillment, life purpose, career, accomplishment, your service to the world taken to a level of great specificity and being acted upon from this internal space of the third eye, knowing what you know you know. This is the transformative opportunity for you at this new moon to align with the purpose of your incarnation. You're going to feel that on an intuitive level from Cancer. Cancer is where the North Node or Rahu is in the Sidereal astrology. It is where the collective energy is moving toward as a collective soul on the planet. And so you are feeling on a soul level that the planet is moving toward a more maternal energy. The planet is moving toward a greater concern for the home. And so maybe for you, this home really has to do with that internal space of download of what you know, and acting upon it. At this time, we do have several months into November when the nodes do change to North Node in Cancer, South Node in Capricorn in the Western. At this time, that is where the Sidereal is, and this is where we are pulling this understanding from for you. Don't overlook that what you know to be the truth for you is tremendously important at this time. Integrity is the ability to tell ourselves the truth. And so telling yourself the truth about your personal and professional relationships as it relates to your career, as it relates to your life purpose more specifically, is really what is being called upon right here. Are your professional relationships, partners in business, partners at home, supporting you in that? Sometimes when people criticize us, it can be felt as a lack of support, but in actuality, on a soul level, they're really refining our clarity with regard to what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing. What is it for you? Because I'm seeing the Ra card here for you, Cancer, Leo, moon people, and that's the reward card. So there's some reward that you're receiving at this time as it relates to your personal and professional relationships and how that relates to your accomplishments and your rewards in the world. You're being acknowledged, or you're about to be acknowledged, or you are acknowledging yourself for work well done. You're seeing that you have been through a journey and you are appreciating what you've been through, either again from within your own internal recognition. This is the waxing gibbous moon sign, which is about refining, revision. And so you're revising your perception of yourself and your life purpose. And this Uranus conjunct the moon at this time is really, it's kind of a sudden thing. If it hasn't happened for you, it's going to happen within the next week or so. And it's a thing that has to do with you realizing all of a sudden, I have done my work. I have really been paying attention to what's going on. I do have a clue. I'm not out to lunch on this. I am establishing boundaries. It's just that I'm in the process of it really kind of being, really maintained to the degree that I need it to be. That kind of thing going on for you right now, Cancer, Leo. Because in your shadow position, what you do not see is that there is this soul acknowledgement for the ego, for the tropical Western astrology, that Leo, mature Leo energy work that you've been doing throughout this eclipse season. You have been facing those shadows. You have been cleansing those things. One God, one law says that we all come to our own clarity and understanding in our own time. And this is your time. So you may not be aware of that. That's why this is in your shadow position. And Great Mother wants to know that, yes, you are acknowledging those dark spaces in your life and you're working through them. Although, be it unconsciously at this time, due to some form of fear perhaps of facing the shadows, you are nonetheless acknowledging them. And so as you dance with this fear, Great Mother is encouraging you, as Dorothy is in this root chakra first quarter moon card, to sing Somewhere Over the Rainbow way up high. There's a place that I've heard of once in a lullaby. There is a connection that we all have to Great Mother, and she's encouraging you to follow that route for you and dissolve that fear. Fear is just the lack of trust in who we are as divine children of the Great Mother, Father, God, who are dearly loved, never condemned or left alone. It's false appearances appearing real, false experiences appearing real, false experiences appearing real. And it just appears to be real that the boundaries are a tremendous challenge for you, or that they're not being respected. But in actuality, if you connect with Great Mother in the way that you know how, that's how Dorothy knew how. She sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow when she was at her wit's end about what to do with Miss Gulch coming for her. Everybody had given her suggestions. Everybody had told her what to do and whatnot and what they would do. And she just didn't know what to do. And she just sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and that reconnected her. And it connected her to her power, so that even when Miss Gulch did ultimately come to take the dog, she was able to respond with power. Now, what needs to be released is that fear of orphanage, of being the orphan, of being dejected. This is the first scene in the movie of The Wizard of Oz when Dorothy is on the dirt road with Toto in her arms. This is a new moon card. So new moon in Aries Taurus is really about you kind of establishing boundaries with this idea that you are an orphan, that you are dejected, that you are not being taken into consideration, because the consideration is you. It's the law of ego form manifestation. You need to consider why you came here and what you're here to do. That's not the job of other people, and you know that. You're being rewarded for the work that you have done. With regard to that, you're being encouraged to carry on with the new card. The Egyptian goddess of the sky, the night sky, the stars. We are all but stars. And the root chakra in the new moon is all about the mystery of our divinity. And being an orphan tells us that we do not have a mother, we do not have a father. Miss Gulch symbolizes the drama mama, or the terrible mama. Dorothy is an orphan, and that is the first woman we see her interacting with, and the woman we see her interacting with throughout the film. She comes and follows her to the farm. She reincarnates as the Wicked Witch of the East, and then she dies with the house falling on her, and reincarnates as the Wicked Witch of the West, who tries to take her shoes. And we are accosted by this energy that tries to take our power until we stand in it. So what needs to be released is a resistance to standing in your power, as well as a resistance to accepting responsibility for that power. There was, in fact, an infraction by Dorothy allowing Toto to run in Miss Gulch's yard. That was her property. And so there are parts of our boundaries that sometimes we really have to be clear about and acknowledge that sometimes there are places in which we've overstepped our own boundaries. Or as we see Dorothy exiting the farmhouse after the house thuds on the ground in Munchkinland after the Twister dream, that we're just simply crossing into another threshold. And we need to realize that we are no longer in Kansas. So either way it goes, what needs to be released, Cancer, Leo, Moon people, is a tendency not to recognize what you came here for. You know in your hearts of hearts and in your soul that there is a wish for you to fulfill a particular service to the world. And what you need to do at this time is assess how your friends and how your professional associates are going to assist you in doing that, or how they are not. And it looks like they are assisting you, but there just needs to be perhaps some reins drawn in on areas in which boundaries are needed at this time so that the wish can be fulfilled. Telling yourself the truth about that and not being afraid to follow through with that is really what Great Mother is simply saying to you at this time. Whatever perceived criticisms or condemnations that you think that you might have as a result of asserting these boundaries are simply criticisms and judgments that you have of yourself, which is why we always fall back on our principles here, that we are divine children of the Great Mother Father God who are never judged, condemned, or left alone. Earth Father energy is the solar energy of our sun sign personality. It is the discipline by which we fulfill or we enact the lunar energy that comes up and bubbles up within us. So maybe look at your sun sign reading here at Great Mother Speaks and kind of see what your sun sign is saying with regard to this. And that might give you some indication about how to deal with this internal judgment and condemnation. You might be an Aries sun sign or a Capricorn sun sign, and there might be something that comes through with regard to you being able to facilitate this release of the feeling of being neglect and fearfulness, to establish your boundaries in ways that honor your life purpose with truth that you may not be seeing here. Your final outcome is the victim card. And the victim card is a twofold card. On the one hand, we have the Ankh, the second chakra, that symbolizes our wants and desires, which is ruled by Jupiter in the Sidereal. So we're talking about chakras, so we're talking about the Vedic astrology, right? And so Jupiter rules the second chakra of Sagittarius and Pisces. So what we are looking at for you, if we're talking about Jupiter, which is now in the signs of Libra, Scorpio, is your fourth house. And so your fourth house, dealing with the mother, dealing with the home, maybe is where you are having a personal relationship which is impeding your professional life. Again, this is Mama Drama Trauma, so that doesn't surprise me. The deck is designed for that. This is what the channel is designed for. So feeling victimhood by the end of this lunar cycle, on the one hand, is the guilt that you may feel as a result of establishing your boundaries, okay? On the other hand, with that Jupiter in Libra Scorpio for you in your fourth house, domesticity is also personal relationships, so it could be with a significant other, and it might have to do with establishing your wants and your desires with your significant partner and planting new seeds in a way that you are articulating what those boundaries need to be so that you won't be victimized by this pattern of not standing in your integrity. Because I see the Ra card in the center of your spread, which is about reward. And so the reward of bringing the victimhood out into the light is seeing that I don't have to be a victim. I don't have to be someone who's acted upon. I can act upon the situation myself by telling myself the truth about what I'm having issues with and address them directly based on what I feel in my gut and what's going to secure me in the truth of who I am. This primordial father energy is very active here. You have the primordial father with the earth father energy. So a lot of internal primal yang energy is coming forward with this Mars in your 7th house to make right what needs to be equalized and balanced and brought into equilibrium in your life with regard to your personal relationships. And so that's what we're seeing here for this lunar cycle for you. Again, Great Mother will have 5 suggested new moon wishes for this Aries Taurus new moon for you. Of course, a total of 10 is what works best for new moon wishes, and we will see what comes to fruition for you during the full moon. But for now, this is the message for Great Mother as you establish boundaries and acknowledge the challenges that you may be having with that, but knowing that the transformative opportunity is in acknowledging your sole purpose for being here and the support and rewards that you have for fulfilling it. Thank you so much for watching, sharing, and liking, but above all and most of all, that Great Mother loves you, and I do too. For more information about Mama Drama Trauma, visit mamadramatrauma.info.